I will make a record of when I stop.
His name. I thought he was lying. And I'm like, what kind of sick game you playing? Because I never knew that my daughter was out here doing all this shit. So it bothered me. So she ended up telling me.
When she got there yesterday, you said you was dropped the pepper spray and started hitting her with a belt.
I started hitting her with the belt.
How many times you hit her with the belt?
I don't know.
You don't know? Just kept hitting her?
I just kept.
What happened after you got done hitting her with the belt?
I got done hitting her with the belt. The police was at the door.
After you got done?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Did you let them in?
Yeah.
All right.
Then you go meet up with them at a park at 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you not understand what we just talked about when you told me about how you was having sex and how you been sneaking out of the house and all that? So you making the situation worse.
Did you ever hit her with your fist?
No.
You ever sock her anywhere?
I think
you hit her with your hands.
I hit her with my hands.
Where you hit her with your hands at?
In her head.
In her head. How many times you hit her?
I don't know how many times I hit her. I hit her like 4 or 5 times, but Josh was holding both of us back. He was holding me back.
He trying to break it up?
Yeah, he was breaking it up. He was getting me off of her, and then every time he'd hold her back or she'd run, I'd just grab the belt and whack it. And every time
that this child was supposed to be maced in the face. There's no testimony as to that. There was a mace can that the officer believed was a mace can found downstairs, but not that mace was used. The only thing that is in here is slaps to the head, of course, and the belt. Judge, just given that, we believe that it is a parent's reasonable right to discipline her child. This is what my client did. This is what she knew, and we believe that this should not be bound over based on that.
I feel for the young lady that's charged with this crime before the court because she's kind of almost in a no-win situation in that she has a teenage daughter that sounds like she's kind of under control. She's only 14 years old. She's out at 4 o'clock in the morning. She's having sex with multiple people. So the court can certainly understand mom's reasoning for wanting to discipline her child. But
join us for a pivotal trial unfolding in the courtroom of Judge Kenneth King, a case that lays bare the complex dynamics within a family. The heart of the matter: a tense conflict between a distressed mother and her 14-year-old daughter, entangled in late-night escapades and violating her curfew. The situation escalated into a physical altercation, prompting police intervention and the mother's arrest. Today's hearing delves into the aftermath, featuring the interrogation at the police station and testimony from several witnesses from the scene. The defendant, the mother, acknowledges using physical means to handle the situation with her daughter. Judge King is now tasked with a weighty decision: was this an acceptable form of parental discipline or an overstep? The trial holds a mirror to the blurred lines of discipline, responsibility, and the complexities of familial bonds. Will Judge King empathize with the circumstances as argued by the defense, or will he side with the prosecution's perspective? Stay tuned as this sensitive case unfolds in Judge King's courtroom, where the fate of a family hangs in the balance.
Mr. Whiting.
Morning, Judge.
What time did you have me down for, sir?
9:30.
See what time it is?
I've been here.
I, on the other hand, was 10 minutes late, about 10 minutes late, and I do apologize. I asked the street to let the court know I was running from across the street.
Calling case 2359792, State of Michigan versus Danielle Dominique Collins. Defendant is charged in count 1, child abuse, 2nd degree. Defendant has a habitual offender 4th offense notice.
Your Honor, good morning, Erin Wilman, P8208, private hearing on behalf of the people. This is for Kenesha Wright. Ms. Holland would be next, so.
Calling case 2359789, State of Michigan versus Kenesha Estella Wright. Defendant is charged in count 1, child abuse, 3rd degree.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Erin Wilman, P8208, private hearing on behalf of the people.
And good morning, Your Honor. Dennis Whiting, P79560, on behalf of Kenesha Wright, who is present standing to my left. Please state your full name for the record.
Kenesha Estella Wright.
There's a date time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
The people are prepared to proceed, Your Honor. We would ask for a mutual order of sequestration. We do not have an officer in charge here today. There is an individual in the courtroom, Ms. Annette Hall, who is listed in the reports. and would be a potential witness, so we would ask that she step out of the courtroom.
Ms. Hall, let me get you to step out to further notice. Are there
I
any other-
believe this gentleman is fine today.
there any other witnesses who may testify today or in a future hearing, please step into the hallway and to further notice. Ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land, if you are a potential witness, I'm ordering you to log off at this time. How many witnesses?
Your Honor, this is a bit unusual. I had to think of a alternate plan for proceeding with the exam because Ms. Paul did not bring the complainant today. However, I do have 3 witnesses on deck who are ready to testify, and we're able to proceed with those
How old
witnesses.
is the complaint?
14.
Where's the complaint?
It was communicated to me by Ms. Hall that she didn't want to come. However, we do have a responding officer. We have an evidence tech who took photos of the injuries, and we have the detective who interviewed Ms. Wright, and I intend to publish a short portion of her statement. So the people would still like to proceed this way.
Okay. Call your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. People called Christopher Malaskis, that's Masalskis.
And give me your right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you situated there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you please state your name again for the record?
Police Officer Christopher Masalskis.
So that goes into my next question. What is your occupation?
I'm a police officer at Detroit Police Department, 7th Precinct Patrol on minutes,
How long have you been employed with the Detroit Police Department?
3 years.
I'm going to direct your attention back to the date of November 4th of 2023. Were you dispatched to 1344 East Canfield in Detroit, Michigan?
Yes,
What is located at that address of 1344 East Canfield?
I'm sorry, what is located?
Is it a business? Is it a house? Something
It's a-
different?
Apartment building.
Were you dispatched to a specific apartment?
Yes, we were dispatched to 1344 Canfield.
Do you recall what time you were dispatched to that location?
I don't.
Was it light out, dark out, something different?
No, it was definitely dark out.
Okay, so you said you worked the night shift, I believe?
Yes, ma'am.
What are your typical hours that you work?
2300 to 07.
Which translates to what on a 12-hour clock?
11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Oh, thank you. Not good with military time. What was the nature of the dispatch to the address of 1344 East Canfield in Detroit, Michigan?
Child abuse.
Did you go to that location as dispatched to do so?
I did after I was flagged down.
Were you alone or with a partner?
I was with my partner,
What was your partner's name on that night?
Officer Porter.
Porter?
Porter, yes, ma'am.
So tell me, when you arrive at the scene, what's the first thing you do?
So upon arrival to this scene, the eyewitness said that they were at their home, that they observed. Object your statement.
Okay, so you came into contact with someone?
Yes,
Just who was that person?
Person was a witness.
Okay, do you know where that person lived?
I do not recall their exact address, no.
Did they live in the area or somewhere different?
Yes, they were neighbors, like a house of over, so,
Okay, so a neighbor. Is that a yes?
yes,
Okay, thank you. So when you arrived, do you speak with this neighbor?
yes,
And we can't talk about what other people say in court, but after speaking to this neighbor, what action do you take at the scene?
make the location of 1344 Canfield and stand by the door.
Was the door open or closed?
The door was closed.
Did you hear anything at that time?
I did.
What was it that you were hearing?
Hold your eyes open.
Was that a female or male voice?
It sounded like a female voice.
What do you do at this point?
At this point, I knock on the door and announce my police presence.
Does anybody answer?
No. Not initially. So I knocked the second time, and then someone opened the door.
Do you recall who opened the door?
I believe it was the defendant's boyfriend.
So it was a male?
Yes, it was a male.
What did that male do when he opened the door?
He opened the door. He stated to me that that she was hitting her with a belt.
Did that male provide his name?
He refused to identify himself.
So what do you do at this point?
At this point, you know, I'm just asking him about the child. The main thing is the safety of the child. Where's the child? He says she's upstairs with her mom. Okay.
Did you enter the house at this point?
Yes, I did.
What did you do when you entered the house?
When I entered the house, I called upstairs to the mom.
Did you know what the mom's name was?
I did not.
So what do you call out to get the mom's attention?
It's like, this is the police, and I need to know where the child is. I need to know the child is safe.
And did anybody finally respond to you?
Yes.
Did you come into contact with any female adults in the house?
So a female adult walked down the stairs, and then I spoke with her. She identified herself as the mom, and I said I needed to see the child. I needed to see that she was safe.
Do you see that person that came down the stairs in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point to that person and describe something that they're wearing?
Blue.
Okay, I didn't see where you're pointing.
Right over here.
Okay,
Blue.
thank you. Your Honor, please let the record reflect this witness has identified the defendant, Kenesha Wright.
So no,
Did this person that came down the stairs ever give you their name?
The person that came down the stairs, not initially, no.
So, do you talk to the defendant at this point?
Well, at this point, on the stairway, they actually went back upstairs and said they were going to get the child and bring him down so we could continue the investigation. This did not happen.
Okay, so what do you do?
So at this point, I've entered into the home. I observed extension cord on the couch, and I also observed a spray can on the couch, and I recovered the can. It appears to be pepper spray based on my knowledge, training, and experience. Then I advance up the stairway, and I see the defendant, Miss Wright, standing in front of the door of the bathroom.
Okay, so do you see anyone else besides Miss Wright at this point?
No, I do not.
Okay, and
And I also heard the shower running as well.
okay, so you heard the shower running in the bathroom?
Yes,
Was the bathroom door open or closed?
the bathroom door was closed.
And Miss Wright's in front of the door, what do you do next?
I asked her, where's the child?
Did she answer you?
Yeah, she replied that she's in the bathroom.
At any point, do you see the child?
Yes, I do.
Do you recall what the child's name was?
Not offhand, no, I cannot.
That's okay. Do you recall the age of the child?
Approximately 14 years old.
So tell me how it comes to be that you eventually see the child.
So, I received information the child was in the shower, and, I called into the child from behind the door. The door is closed. I said, is there anybody in there? And I hear subtle voice of a 14, what sounds like a child or a teenager say yes. I was like, at this time, the Miss Wright's mom arrived at the location and was able to get a towel, give it to the child, have her come out. As soon as she opened the door, I could see her eyes completely swollen.
Okay, I just want to stop you right there.
Okay.
Don't get too far ahead of ourselves. So you said another adult ends up making the scene?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Where's Miss Wright at this point when the other adult makes the scene? Is she still upstairs?
Miss Wright is still upstairs. I had instructed Miss Wright to please step aside and stand by with my partner while we continue the investigation.
So now we get to where you make contact with this child. Tell me what you observed when you first see this child.
When I first made contact with the child, I observed her with her head swollen, She was obviously wet. She just got out of the shower. But her eyes were like the burning red, and her eyes were swollen up. And she had lacerations on her.
Now, could you see, you said that she was in a towel. Did I get that right?
That is correct.
Could you see any other parts of her body?
Just arms and legs.
So her torso?
Arms, legs, and her face.
Did you notice any, did you observe anything as it related to her arms or legs?
I did not specifically really observe anything related to her arms or legs that was alarming, not as much as her face was.
Did you observe any other injuries to her body?
I believe that when Sergeant Goins was in the room with the mom, and I asked her to telegraph her back, she showed me the laceration. I remember seeing the laceration.
Where was the laceration that you saw?
I believe it was on her stomach.
So after you observe this child, what do you do next? What other action do you take at the scene?
At this point, I asked my partner to take Miss Wright downstairs, place her into cuffs, and detain her as we continue our investigation.
Did you make any notifications at that time to
Yes.
any other units?
Yes, notifications were made to our appropriate notification and control and our child abuse unit.
All I have.
Cross-examine.
Yes, Your Honor. Also, just a few questions to clarify your direct testimony. During the course of your investigation, did you determine what had occurred prior to this alleged incident taking place?
Yes, I was informed that the child was out in the neighborhood and against mom's permission.
Okay. So from your investigation, at least from your initial investigation, there was an issue where mom was trying to discipline their child.
I would say that, yes, that is correct.
Fair enough. Thank you, Judge.
You redirect?
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Yes, the people call Ellen Zajka, that's Z-A-J-K-A. First name is Ellen, L-L.
Please step forward and raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Hey, Danny, you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name and occupation?
My name is Ellen Chaipa. I work for City of Detroit Crime Scene Services for Detroit Police Department.
How long have you been employed with the Detroit Police Department?
Since May 2nd of 2022.
And you mentioned you're with the crime scene
Crime Scene Services.
services. So what are your roles and responsibilities with the crime scene services unit?
So what we do, we document scenes with photography. We collect evidence. Depending on what scene it is, we dust for fingerprints and write reports, package evidence, stuff like that.
So basically processing scenes and evidence, everything that comes along with that.
Yes.
Have you been an evidence tech for your entire career with the Detroit Police Department?
Yes.
I'm going to direct your attention back to November 4th of 2023. Were you asked to take some photographs as a part of an investigation by the Detroit Police Department Child Abuse Unit?
Yes.
Who was it that contacted you to take some photographs?
Detective Dent, child abuse.
What specifically were you asked to photograph?
I was asked to photograph her right arm, her right shoulder, her chest and stomach area, and her back.
Okay, so you're saying her, so you were asked to photograph a human?
Yes,
Okay, was this an adult, a child, something different?
a child.
Do you know how old she was?
Her birthday is 9/19/09.
That would make her 14 years old?
Yes,
So you were asked to photograph her body?
yes.
Where were you when you took photographs?
We were at the TPSH, the Detroit Public Safety Headquarters on the 5th floor. We went into the women's bathroom to photograph her.
Do you recall what time of day that was?
I arrived there around 11:40 in the morning. I left around 12:10 p.m.
And was that actually on November 4th, or was that?
Yes, that was on November 4th.
I'd like to show you what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 1 through 8. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
May.
Thank you. I'm gonna have you look at all of these. I'm showing you what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 1 through 8. Can you take a look at each one of those and then just look up at me when you're done looking at them? Now, do you remember the name of the child?
I think it was Janiyah Wright.
Did you take a look at all of these of People's Proposed 1 through 8?
Yes.
Can you tell me what these are?
Those are photographs of Janiyah Wright and her injuries.
Who took these photographs?
I did.
And these photographs a true and accurate depiction of what Janiyah Wright looked like when you photographed her on November 4th of 2023?
Yes.
Does it appear that these photographs have been altered in any way?
No.
Move to admit People's 1 through 8.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Admitted?
Permission to publish?
Yes, please.
Did you take any other photographs pertaining to this investigation?
No, I did not.
Did you assist in the investigation in any other capacity?
No.
Nothing further, thank you.
Cross-examine.
Morning.
Morning.
Just a few questions again to clarify your testimony on direct. When you took these pictures, I believe you stated it was between 11:40 a.m. and noon time?
Around 12:10.
Okay, do you recall when this incident took place?
I was not provided with that information.
Okay, so as an evidence technician, you would agree with me that the photos that you took at around noon that day these injuries could appear different 10 hours prior, correct?
Correct.
And a lot of times, because at least in your training experience, injuries tend to, once they get a little older, they start
Well, Your
forming.
Honor, objection, that is outside of scope of this witness's expertise.
Right.
The nature of injuries.
Sustained.
And I'll just back up then. Do you have any training with regard to injuries, or how they appear, anything like that?
I have prior training in first aid.
Okay, first aid
That's my
training.
extent.
Okay, fair enough. But ultimately, you'd agree with me that the pictures, when you took them at noon, could be different than 2 a.m. the night before.
I suppose. so.
Well, again, Your Honor, objection, that calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Fair enough.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next witness, please.
Do people call them middle? EIDDLE?
I do. Thank you, sir. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning,
Can you please state your name and occupation?
Ben Biddle, Detective of the Detroit Police Department,
How long have you been with the Detroit Police Department?
26 years.
Are you employed within a specific unit within the Detroit Police Department?
Special Victims Unit, Child Abuse,
How long have you been with the child abuse unit?
24 years.
24 out of your 26 years?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been a detective?
11.
I'm going to direct your attention back to November 4th of 2023. Were you involved in an investigation regarding an individual by the name of Kenesha Wright?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the nature of that investigation?
It was a child abuse investigation of a juvenile that was whipped by a parent.
Okay. And do you recall where that incident is alleged to have occurred?
No, ma'am.
If I show you a copy of the investigator's report, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach the witness?
Okay.
Thank you. Take a look at this and let me know if that refreshes your recollection as to the location.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, do you now recall where the location of the incident is alleged to have occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where was that?
1344 Campfield Street in the city of Detroit.
Do you recall the name of the child involved in this investigation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you the officer in charge of this investigation?
No, ma'am.
You're not. So if I show you a copy of the investigator's
Yes, ma'am.
report, will that refresh your
Yes, ma'am.
recollection? May I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall the name of the child
Yes, ma'am.
and the age?
Jamil Wright, age 14.
Now, you said you were involved in this investigation with a person by the name of Kenesha Wright. What was the relationship of Kenesha Wright to Janiyah Wright?
The child's mother.
And who is the officer in charge of this investigation?
Corporal Siobhan.
Now, did you assist Corporal Siobhan Young in the investigation?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do to assist her in the
I
investigation?
took a statement from the defendant. Child mother.
Okay, so that would be Kenesha Wright?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times did you interview Ms. Wright?
Once.
Do you see that person by the name of Kenesha Wright in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you point to that person and describe something that she's wearing?
Female with the blue sweatshirt on, or blue sweater, to my right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please let the record reflect this witness has identified the defendant, Kenesha Wright.
So moved.
Now, do you recall when you interviewed her? Did you interview her on that same day of November 4th?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that, do you recall what time of day?
I think it was an afternoon.
Light outside?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you interview her?
At the Detroit Detention Center.
Was she under arrest at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you advise her of anything prior to speaking with her?
Fights for their constitutional rights.
And when you advise a individual of their constitutional rights, do you use a form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have, did you have Ms. Wright read any of those rights aloud?
I had to read the first one out loud to me.
Did she have any difficulty reading that first right out loud to you?
No, ma'am.
And then what do you do as it relates to the other rights?
I have her read each one of them, so if she has any questions, concerns, let me know. Initially, each one of them, she's understanding, no sign, date, and time.
Did you follow that process with Kenesha Wright?
Just went out the week.
And did you ask Ms. Wright if she understood those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
What did she indicate?
She signed, date, with time.
Okay. Did Ms. Wright appear to be under the influence of any alcohol or drugs?
No, ma'am.
Did Ms. Wright appear to have a lack of sleep?
No, ma'am.
Was Ms. Wright deprived of any food or water?
Not to my knowledge.
At any point, did Ms. Wright ask you for an attorney?
No, ma'am.
At any point, did Ms. Wright say that she did not want to speak with you?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 9. May I approach the witness?
Right.
I'm showing you what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 9. Can you take a look at that and tell me what we're looking at?
Constitutional rights or certificate of notification.
Okay. And, this form has some information on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I see something at the top right there, what is that?
This Ms. Wright's, name, date of birth.
Okay, so is this the form that you used before you spoke with Ms. Wright on November 4th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
There's some initials next to each number here on the side. Whose initials are those?
Those are the initials of Ms. Wright.
Okay, Ms. Wright initialed those?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I see a signature here.
Yes, ma'am.
Whose signature is that?
That'd be Ms. Wright's.
Okay, so you personally observed her sign this form?
Yes, ma'am.
And then whose signature is here at the very bottom?
That'd be my sister.
And is this a true and accurate depiction of the advice of rights form that you went over with and had Ms. Wright initial and sign prior to speaking with her on November 4th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Move to admit people sign.
Any objection? No objection.
Permission to publish.
Yes.
At this time, I will turn over this witness to defense for voir dire as to the voluntariness of Ms. Wright's statement.
Your Honor, for purposes of the exam, we believe that the criteria is met.
We'll make a finding that the statement was knowingly and voluntarily given. You may proceed.
Thank you. Was the interview that you conducted with Kenesha Wright video recorded?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know if the officer in charge did provide that video to the prosecutor's office?
Yes, she did.
So I want to show you on the screen what's been marked as people's proposed 10. I am. Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sharing screen for the record. Sharing the sound. Can you see that screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, Biddle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you recognize anyone on that screen?
Yes, ma'am. That'd be myself and Ms. Wright.
Okay, and what is this?
This is interrogation at the GDC.
So this was the interview that you conducted with Ms. Wright on November 4th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And prior to coming to court today, are you aware of any alterations, deletions, anything that was changed as it relates to this video?
No, ma'am.
And I just want to ask you at the bottom, I know it's probably hard to see, but there's in blue at the bottom right there, it looks to be some numbers. You know what that is that the time? If it's, you can't see that? Okay. It says, I have it paused at 12:19:31 in PM.
Okay.
Would that typically reflect the time
Yes, ma'am.
of the interview? People would move to admit people's 10.
Objection for exam purposes.
Admitted.
And I'm going to publish, I hope I have the sound working here. I'm going to publish at 12:19:31 seconds PM, just to make sure the sound is working, and I'm going to publish about 2 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I will make a record of when I stop.
His name, I thought he was lying. I'm like, what kind of sick game you playing? Because I never knew that my daughter was out here doing all this shit. So it bothered me. So she ended up telling me.
When she got there yesterday, you said you was dropped the pepper spray and started hitting her with a belt.
I started hitting her with the belt.
How many times you hit her with the belt?
I don't know.
You don't know, just kept hitting her?
I just kept
What happened after you got done hitting her with the belt?
And I got done hitting her with the belt, the police was at the door.
After you got done?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, did you let them in?
Yeah.
Alright. And did Josh ever hit her?
No.
Right.
It was just me.
Was her clothes on or off when you was hitting her?
She didn't have on no clothes. Her jacket was off.
Her jacket was off?
Did
she have a shirt on or anything?
She didn't have no shirt. It was just her titties and jacket with the leggings on. So that's why I said, that's why it would actually look like that.
Did you rip her jacket off of her?
I didn't rip her jacket off first. She took it off.
Why'd she take it
I'm
off?
like, let me see what you got on.
As you asked her?
Yeah. Well, you outside at 1 o'clock in the morning, let me see what you got on. If you were just at the park chilling with somebody, you feel me? And why is you even at a park at 1 o'clock in the morning? If this nigga really fucking with you, you could talk to him on the phone at 1 o'clock, not go meet the nigga that you just met. She like, I just met him 2 days ago on Instagram, but you just told me that she told you she been to him. What she told me is that she just met him, so I'm just thinking the words like, so you meet a nigga and then you go meet up with him at a park at 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you not understand what we just talked about when you told me about how you was having sex and how you been sneaking out of the house and all that? So you making the situation worse.
You ever hit her with your fist?
No.
You ever sock her anywhere?
I think
you hit her with your hands.
I hit her with my hands.
Where you hit her with your hands at?
In her head.
In her head. How many times you hit her?
I don't know how many times I hit her. I hit her like 4 or 5 times, but Josh was holding both of us back. He was holding me back.
He trying to break it up?
Yeah, he was breaking it up. He was getting me off of her, and then every time he'd hold her back or she'd run, I'd just grab the belt and whack it. And every time I whack her, it's gonna be a bruise on her.
All the injuries on your daughter, did you cause all those injuries? The whip marks and all that, did you cause those injuries? That's a yes or no?
Yes. That's a yes. I'm sorry.
And you hit her with, and then you said it was a belt. Was it a extension cord or was it a belt?
It was a belt.
It's a belt.
Yeah. I whooped her very bad. I can't admit and I was wrong for that, but that was my way of trying to discipline her because she continued to do this shit, and I just want her to be safe because I feel like if anything happens to you, I'm sitting at home sleeping in my house thinking that my daughter in her room sleep. And for me to find out that you outside at 4 o'clock in the morning with some niggas that you don't even know nothing about, can't tell me their first name, last name, I don't even know where they stay. You barely know them in my eyes. So in my eyes, you can get trafficked, you can get kidnapped, anything. I'm thinking of the worst.
You just scared about it.
Yeah, I'm more so scared, but I was frustrated.
I always tell parents this, you go to that higher level, but it's defeating the purpose if you go into that high level putting excessive force on them. So because now 2 wrongs is
don't make it right. It's making me look crazy.
Because we could have settled this easier by
12:22 and 38 seconds p.m. Detective Biddle, did you assist in the investigation in any other capacity?
No, ma'am.
Nothing.
Cross-examine?
I'm stopping share for the record, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Detective, just a few questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
From the course of your investigation, you determined that my client was attempting to discipline her child, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And during the course of your investigation, you were able to determine that this minor child was out at all hours of the night, correct?
Yes, sir.
That she potentially was having sex with unknown males, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
From your investigation, her mom was worried about her, it appears.
Yes, sir.
I did hear this cry, I just want to confirm for the record, but when you asked about extension cords, my client did deny that, correct?
Yes, sir.
The only thing she admits to, especially in that video, is that she did hit her with a belt in response to her daughter being out at night.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
I just want to clarify, during your interview that we just saw, she also talked about hitting her in the head.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Right, so that was another thing that she admitted to?
Yes, ma'am.
Not just the belt?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing true.
Thank you, sir. You may start. Any other witnesses for the people?
None.
Any witnesses for the defendant?
None, Judge.
People.
Your Honor, the people do move for bind over in this case as charged. Ms. Wright is charged with child abuse in the 3rd degree for the injuries she inflicted on her 14-year-old daughter, Janiyah Wright. The court heard the testimony, saw the photographs. Obviously, the people are anticipating that the defense is going to bring up reasonable discipline, but I'm certain that the injuries in those photos are not reasonable. The entirety of her torso just torn up, blood showing, it's exposed. Her entire back is marked up. Both of her arms are marked up. On top of that, her eyes are swollen from being maced. And Ms. Wright admitted to also hitting her in the head with her hands multiple times as well. Yes, teenagers need to be disciplined, but Your Honor, the people submit that based on the evidence that the has been presented to this court today, specifically those pictures, that is not reasonable. So we wouldn't provide over as charged.
Mr. Wright?
And Judge, prosecutor read my mind, of course, it was obvious, but from the evidence that was displayed here in court today, we have a child who's out at all hours of the night. This is not the first time. Mom is obviously frustrated with her, and she obviously loves her and cares about her. She stated on the video. She's trying to reasonably discipline her child. She says, man, looking back, maybe I went too far. She did say that right in the video. She's not trying to take from that. But at the same time, Judge, what we have is we have a 14-year-old who is of sufficient age to show up in court today, who did not want to show up in court today, who did not testify.
Yeah, I'm gonna object to that. There's no evidence of the record as to the reasons that she didn't show up in court.
I don't think it's relevant.
Okay, and beyond that, Judge, one thing I do need to point out from the people's argument is that this child was supposed to be maced in the face. There's no testimony as to that. There was a mace can that the officer believed was a mace can found downstairs, but not that mace was used. The only thing that is in here is slaps to the head, of course, and the belt. Judge, just given that, we believe that it is a parent's reasonable right to discipline her child. This is what my client did. This is what she knew, and we believe that this should not be bound over based on that.
Your Honor, just the responding officer did testify when he approached the house. He heard a female voice saying, "Open your eyes," and then saw the mace can there. I think we circumstantially can draw a conclusion when you see the photographs of the redness in her eyes. That's all I got. Thank you.
So this reaffirms how good God is to me, that he didn't bless me with daughters, bless me with sons instead. I feel for the young lady that's charged with this crime before the court, because she's kind of almost in a no-win situation in that she has a teenage daughter that sounds like she's kind of out of control. She's only 14 years old. She's out at 4 o'clock in the morning. She's having sex with multiple people. So the court can certainly understand mom's reasoning for wanting to discipline her child. But I think even mom would concede that the discipline that she used went a bit overboard, particularly in exhibits 6, 7, and 8. It shows these extensive webs all over her body and all over her chest, her stomach. And not only are there webs, there's broken skin. So all the people have to show for child abuse third degree is that she knowingly and intentionally caused physical harm to her child. And I don't think there's any denying, looking at these photos, that physical harm was caused to the child, and she admitted in the video that she intended to do it. Although there's a fine line between abuse and discipline. This went a bit overboard. But let me also say, I understand, I feel your pain. Court finds the people have met their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in the complaint warrant. Court finds those charges were committed in the city of Detroit. The court finds probable cause to believe this then it will be bound over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court Criminal Division for proceedings. Her arraignment on the information, the date and time will be December 11th, 2023 at 9 o'clock a.m. Bond will be continued.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.